Welcome back to another episode of Before You Buy. Today we're going to be looking at Pizza Tower. Pizza Tower is an indie developed game by Torta Pizza, mainly consisting of McPig and some other people, I assume. Pizza Tower, well, what is to be said about Pizza Tower that hasn't been said so much online lately? I've seen this game all over the place, and I'm sure you have too. Obviously heavily inspired by the Wario Land franchise, Pizza Tower takes what they learnt from that franchise and soars with flying colours far beyond what I had even expected. Going into this, I was apprehensive. I'm not too much of a platformer guy, but it was very, very impressive, way beyond my expectations. I mean, the flow and the movement, it just works together in a way that is something I haven't experienced in a game in a very long time. Very smooth, just very snappy, and regardless if you're playing on a controller or a keyboard, it just always feels like you have the best control over your character. It's stupid to say it like that, but it's very impressive for a game that can actually do it like that in a way that doesn't feel like sloppy or, slippery like many platformers that we have had in the past. Especially coming from an indie developer, they clearly knew what they were doing going into this, and fair to say that the 5+ years of development that took place clearly helped this game significantly. I've taken my time to look back at some previous demos and Patreon builds, and wow, there is a significant improvement from the earlier builds. Obviously, over time things do get better and improve, but looking at these early demos, like the level design is not fully fleshed out, it doesn't prioritize speed, which is something that the final product does immaculately. I mean, you can combo throughout the entire levels, just from beginning to end. A fully chained combo, you can... It's crazy. Pizza Tower, just... What a crazy game. I mean, you go anywhere, you see people saying positive things about it, like, oh wow, the graphics, they're so interesting. People always point out the graphics first, so why not here? I'll play it right here. The graphics for Pizza Tower are just lovely. They're full of charisma, full of that 90s charm that I hear everybody saying about it. I mean, they're not wrong. It really is. It's just great. It's such a fantastic game. I mean, I'm sure you've already seen gameplay of it, if you're even watching this video to begin with. I'm sure you've seen stuff online on it, and you're like, oh, I kind of want to play this, but I'm not too sure what to do. Let me tell you, you should just go and play this. It's fantastic. Sure, it might not be for everybody, especially if you're not super into platformer games, but it does a very good job at acclimatizing those who aren't even too familiar with the Wario Land, type of platforming. Like, I've had no experience with the Wario Land games at all in my entire life, and wow. I mean, it just clicked for me. It really just clicks. The momentum, just the level design, that's something that's great. Really, really good. Like, early demos, like I've said before, they just weren't built for the momentum that Peppino, your main character, Peppino Spaghetti, has. In the full release, you get you just have this tight-knit controls. Everything is just so precise, it's perfect. And the levels, they're just like a playground that lets you completely utilize all your skills that you learn throughout the entire game. It's wonderful. And the game, it does not handhold you, like, at all. It really just lets you out there, and it's not like, throwing you into water not knowing how to swim. It's like, it teaches you how to use it, and then it just gives you the keys to the car. That's kind of the best way to describe it. And I mean, that's really it. You go, you just full sprint through all these levels once you figure it out. Once you master these skills, because it's like when you start out, it's you're moving through it very slowly, and it's tricky. It's tricky to learn how to combo all these moves together in a elegant way that doesn't just result in you crashing into walls every 5 seconds. So you're more apprehensive about how to control your character, but the more you play through the game, the more confident you become with your abilities and how you can use them and utilize them in the environments that the game places you into. Like, let's say for the first level, you may take like 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes to get there in your first run. You could come back to that level at the end of the game and breeze through it in like 2 minutes, just from what you've learned and how you can adapt your momentum into something that isn't just going to make you crash into walls. It's just crazy. It's difficult to explain to somebody who hasn't played it how it feels to play through Pizza Tower, but it really is just a fantastic platformer. Something that I had not anticipated coming out in the current landscape of video games. It's just wonderful. You know, it's really one of those games that I feel like is going to be an indie titan along with like Undertale or Amori or Roblox. You know, it's just so many wonderful games that, you know, I think Pizza Tower just fits in perfectly alongside all of these. I mean, it really just, you know, goes to show that the developer Toby Fox, he really knew what he was doing when he came into this game. I mean, the graphics are crude, yeah. I mean, you know, they're obviously like drawn in MS Paint kind of art style. That's like what he was going for, and you know, we you know, you kind of see it and you think, yep, that was definitely just drawn in like 5 minutes in MS Paint, and then, you know, but it's so smooth. That's what's big about it. The graphics are so smooth and fluid, and the animation is fantastic. It's top notch, even if it looks really crude. That's obviously the style it's going for, but alongside that, just the amount of passion put into not only just the design and the look and the feel of how the game looks, it's just, not only is that just incredible, but the gameplay just meshes so well with the aesthetic that it all builds upon, and the music. I mean, you've heard it throughout this video. It's phenomenal. It's really just a treat for the ears. It's wonderful. Not everything is, you know, immediately like finger-snapping good, but there are some tracks in this game that are just phenomenal. Like, the raw energy and emotion that you feel running through a level at just high-octane speeds when you're listening to tracks like It's Pizza Time when you're finishing a level. It's crazy. With the timer ticking down and the anxiety that you feel that you share with Peppino in that moment, it's just crazy. It's great. Such a great experience that I really recommend to just anybody. Of course, you know, it may have all these wonderful, you know, things about it that just wow people, as it has online throughout various communities, but one part of it that I think is tricky is that Pizza Tower has a bit of a difficulty curve. You know, first it starts off with you in like this, you know, crumbled ruins like castle area, and then you get to like this hot sandy cave beach area, and you know, the game it doesn't do difficulty curves very well. It spikes very hard midway through the game, and that may be a turn off to some players, because if you're not properly, you know, used to how the game controls, you might run into some significant issues while playing. And the bosses are also a detour from this, and I've seen some people have a lot of trouble with this, especially since it veers far away from the rest of the gameplay throughout the game. And while it may be a nice pace, and I enjoyed it personally, I can see where people may find it frustrating having to deal with a health bar in a game that primarily doesn't have one. And for things that don't have very many lose conditions, games like Pizza Tower implement it in a unique way that may not be something that works for every kind of gamer. Overall though, the experience that you can get in Pizza Tower is fantastic, and Toby did a great job on, this game. It's really good. His music is once again, top notch. Shout outs to Toby Fox once again for making a great soundtrack with all love. A bit of a detour from his previous projects, but I'm sure we'll be looking forward to whatever he has next cooking up. In the oven, a bit of pizza joke there, if you get it. Yeah. So once again, thank you for watching. This is another episode of Before You Buy, and next week we're going to be covering Upit World and the Roblox port that had been announced recently. So look out for that one.